a lot of talk about soccer in America nowadays. You have Messi in the MLS, you have Ronaldo at the White House, pissing off Barca fans that he got to be there. It's it's a crazy time. Hey, big window for us, Jarod. We gotta wave the soccer flag in America.
No, listen, this is a sport that, America's a strange place, Sid. Like, it is at once a place where the powers that be and the people who are in control cannot trace their family lineage back to this country, right? Like, because they weren't from here. They all emigrated here, right? Like from somewhere else, however far back you have to go. So, this idea that the reason why soccer is so hard to catch on here is because it's not quote unquote an American thing. And I'm like, well, neither is quote unquote America, right? America's not an American thing. So it's just so odd to me, right? Like this idea of like, soccer is this thing that like people doesn't catch on here for whatever reason. I mean, the bottom line is that we as a country do not funnel our best athletes into this sport, right? There's no mechanism to do that. The way it's set up is that in order to play elite youth level soccer in this country, you have to come from a family of means. Whereas in most other countries in the world, that is the complete opposite case. If you got talent, we'll find a way to get you into a program to make you good.
Oh yeah, that is really well said, and that is part of the story of why I'm on the Real Deal and not playing. Because I would love to have played. Don't get me wrong. I'm a competitor, Gerard. You know me. I want to be number one. I play
No
to
doubt.
win. But when I was in Singapore, I was a great two-way player. JSSL Arsenal Academy, shout out Arsenal. I didn't like that the coach referred to Xavi and Iniesta when he showed me how to turn, but they knew what they were doing. I'll give it to them. Those were the examples of the day. It was 2012. Modric wasn't at Real yet. But I left Arsenal from Singapore and I come over to New Jersey, and I hear about the tryouts for the team going into my sophomore year of high school. And I'm excited. I get ready with everything and I go. And then I find out I missed a paperwork deadline by 100 days. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you're not going to let me play over paperwork? Like, are you kidding me? I'm like a talent here, dude. I care about the game. And so that was the end of my soccer career. That was the end. I'm not
Paperwork.
spending
Jesus.
I'm not spending $1,000 to go play for a club team in the middle of the winter in New Jersey when when the few kids who care about the game I could have played with and found my community were taken away from me. Not, but like it was my fault. I don't know about the paperwork, but why is that technicality the thing? And two, I saw how much those kids who were playing were spending to stay good year round, and that was a lot of money, Gerard. That was a lot
Yeah,
of money.
it's wild to me that that's how we do this pay for play system here in the United States. And so, yes, that's a big reason why we are not good. What I think is interesting too about your story is that I mentioned that America's not American, powers that be, people, if you trace back their lineage, they're all immigrants. So clearly that is your family's history and yours as well, right? You emigrated here. I wonder if it's the same story as everybody else, which is that your mom and dad, like most immigrant parents, like, I ain't got time for this football nonsense. You got to figure out, if you want to play, it's on you to figure out when to get the paperwork in and do all that. I got other things to worry about. Is that the story?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was always an independent kid, like in the sense that I'd always like kind of sort my things out. I wouldn't want my parents to come and kind of interfere. And in that case, it's like, hey, I'm playing soccer, I'm taking the initiative. I've always just
Mm-hmm.
seen it as something I do.
Okay.
And I just think like fundamentally, like the fact that that was the loophole was annoying. But even beyond that, soccer is expensive in this country. And
Mm-hmm.
culturally, like America's done something very impressive, which is just taken several other sports and monetized the shit out of them very efficiently. And I think now what's happening is like the rest of the world is looking like, hey, per game, America is smarter at monetizing their sports, simply put. And like
Mm-hmm.
we may not see eye to eye, we may not like them, they may not like us, but at the end of the day, like I think the money and has crossed a point. But two, I think, Gerard, we've also crossed a point of monoculture in our reality where 20, 30 years ago, there was a monoculture. Everyone in America watched like the Bulls, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The
There was
Cosby
probably,
Show, whatever, Cheers, Seinfeld. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Friends. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was America. And that era of America, or not America, but the whole world has kind of seen that era stop. And America was like a big cultural leader when it was a thing. Then technology comes in. Everyone has TikTok. Everyone has YouTube. No one reads anymore. And so the amount of influence one person or thing or entity can have has gone down. And that's why you're getting all these crossover events, these multiverses, Messi in America, Ronaldo at the White House. The crossover theme is because audience capture is just really hard now. And so the soccer people are like, oh, let's get the American audiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Formula One, the movie. They made it because they
Mm-hmm.
could hook American audiences, but the international audiences fed the box office. It wasn't as big in America, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's the same idea. Like internationally, people are going to watch it. We're going to ramp up the digital engagement. We're going to be able to sell that to sponsors, so more sponsorship money comes in, and this shameless crossover thing is going to keep happening. And I call it shameless
Yeah.
because like it's really not with a brand strategy in mind, but everyone is just going and endorsing someone else. Like Logan Paul endorsing the Saudi Arabian prince. I don't know. You know what I mean, though? It's all multiple because
Yeah.
everyone's got hands everywhere and nobody watches one thing anymore.
Well, it is, and it's all tied into the profit model, right? Which is constant growth year over year over year over year. But money is not an infinite source, right? Like money's finite. Like it runs out at some point. No matter how much you make, you only make so much. At some point, it's it, right? And your discretionary income and what you spend to go to sporting events is limited, right? Like, okay, this is what I can spend on sporting events, and that's it, right? But the constant we need more. We need to tap in, right? That's this idea you mentioned about, moving football over here to the America, because tapping into the global audience is why the NFL has been playing games in Europe since the 80s, right? Like, or early 90s, excuse me, right? Like they're just trying desperately, right, to tap into and
So
catch a new audience.
Wait, that's been since the 90s.
Yeah, remember, and there was a league called NFL Europe for a while. There was an actual European NFL league. I mean, it failed miserably, but there was an NFL Europe league.
Wow. I did not even know that. And that just shows how far ahead the NFL is just thinking about these things like in the 90s. Like, wow.
Yeah, oh, for sure. They were always trying to globalize. I think the difference, though, is that no matter, look, I don't know the full numbers, and I'd love to check it out. I don't know that the NFL captures and translates overseas as much as the NFL pretends that it does or makes it seem like it does. As we know, being we are a Real Madrid podcast, the Redskins, and I forget the Redskins, excuse me, wrong name, the Commanders, and maybe the Broncos, I forgot who they were playing. They played that matchup at the Bernabeu. There were numerous people who I talked to, Sid, who were there, people like Spaniards, like people who are actual native Spanish people, who went and said, I mean, it was cool and all, but it felt like the stadium was, in the other fans, it was predominantly Americans. And I wonder, and again, because of the nature of the NFL, in that it is a once a week sport, your team plays one game a week. Sid, in this country, and I don't know if all listeners know this, but there are people who season tickets to their favorite NFL team, that is where their discretionary money goes. So not only do they go to their 8 or 9 home matchups, they also travel on the road for those other 8 or 9 games away and spend the weekend in the other NFL cities watching their team play. That is what a lot of people do. And so if you know in advance your team's playing in Spain, for example, right, you can plan to go to Spain for the weekend, right? It's not a long flight, 6 hours, right? Depending on, I mean, if you're from New York, a little bit further if you're somewhere else. But you can plan that out, right? And you can go. I don't know how many native Spanish people, like people born and raised in Spain who live there, give a crap about the actual National Football League.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I was seeing tweets like on Spanish Twitter, and Americans are called Yankees on Spanish Twitter, and they're saying, "Damn, the Yanks sold us like Rayo Vallecano versus Elche at the Bernabeu and made it seem like the Super Bowl."
I mean, yes, right. It wasn't the two of the NFL's best teams this season. That wasn't who was there. But regardless, right? We know that from ratings here in the States. A middling Thursday night matchup between 2, 3, and 11 teams will crush an NBA game between the Nuggets and the Lakers.
It'll crush the Christmas. It crushes the Christmas Day game sometimes.
Yes,
didn't it
sure.
last year?
Not all the time. Not sometimes. All the time.
Okay,
any regular season NFL game will demolish any NBA game. NBA game.
And they don't know that, Jarod. Like the face of the NBA comes and jokes about how the NBA owns Christmas, and it's really a sarcastic joke at the fact that they don't, which is what like I thought that was telling.
The NBA used to own Christmas, right? But once the NFL decided, oh, we're going to put games on Christmas now. Now it's not a contest, right? Like,
That's so funny. And that is very interesting. And so now to talk a little bit about soccer in America and how they seem to try to sell it. You have Messi, Apple
mm-hmm,
TV.
mm-hmm,
He is playing the final on Sunday
mm-hmm.
or tomorrow, either tomorrow or Sunday. Also, I'm throwing this episode up today. We can just talk about it. But
All good, fine.
Messi versus Mueller in the big game. How much do you think Messi's brought interest to America? I'll say this now. I, as a football historian and fan of the game, have when I had a free trial for Apple TV, I was sitting down and it was on. I threw it on because I'm like, how? And to be fair, I might have been a little inebriated and having fun, just relaxing that evening. But I don't think I would do it normally. But
Yeah, yeah.
but with that being said, it is fun to watch like a problem solver like Leo in an environment where everyone is so far inferior to him cognitively. I hate to say it, but it's just true. Like
They are. Oh,
he's the best brain in the history of the game, in my opinion. Like just
it
deadly.
it 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 is it has helped certainly because Leo is a global phenomenon. He's a name that everybody knows. One of the things we like to do at True Hoop is, you know, Henry will talk about, okay, but does your grandmother know who this player is, right? Like your grandmother's heard of Steph Curry, right? Like that's like a player who transcends even the casual, whatever, that he's part of the, even though there is no monoculture, he's part of popular culture, right? That's who Leo Messi is. You know nothing about soccer, you know who that is, right? So from that standpoint, yes, he has brought in so much attention. And because of our media apparatus here in the United States and the way that the media works here, so much of the sport was of sport coverage was focused on that, right? Messi's in Miami. Oh my God, the MLS is about to take off. And it's much like when the media decides that Toy X is the popular toy this Christmas and you didn't know about it, but now you do. And now everybody rushes out to buy Toy X. It's the same kind of thing, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, I got to watch the MLS, whatever, right? So like there was a lot of that surge and swell. And that is good for capturing attention. I don't know how good it is for sustaining attention, right? Because ultimately, the thing itself has to be good and good quality. Now, for people like us, right, who enjoy the sport, one of the ways, however, you can make it sustaining is, you mentioned F1, is what F1 did with the Netflix deal, which is the whole Drive to Survive thing, right? Where you're doing the whole behind the scenes about the race and the drivers and what's going on. Because again, when we talk about leagues and sports trying to gain in popularity, it's not about diehards. I promise you this, folks. Leagues give less than 0 fucks about diehard fans. Literally. And you know why? Because they know they got you already. They know no matter what, you are tuning in. They are trying to capture the casual. How do I capture the casual? I got to do things that interest them. Celebrities, this, that, and the third, all these other things that pique their interest, right? That's how they keep them connected to the game. And that's what we're seeing more and more, right? Today it was a perfect example with the World Cup draw, which was in DC. How many non-soccer people were involved in that, right? A ton, because that's the goal. They're trying to capture people who don't give a shit about soccer, but who like famous people to get them to watch.
Yeah, and that ties into how it's all about the end of monoculture. So to get a new audience, you have to target these like ADHD audiences that are on social media that may scroll across your thing because you landed on their leg of the algo. And that's what we actually got with Ronaldo at the White House. That was, Ronaldo now has the largest personal brand in the world of any human being, I believe. And he has for years. Like you might think Messi's a better player. Ronaldo's winning the business game, man. Like he is at least per ounce of talent, he's stretching it out as well as anyone. And credit to him for doing that. And it's at the point where the only way to guarantee, like what the White House achieved with that was everyone around the world that normally follows Ronaldo got to see it. And the same thing we get with Messi. I just find it interesting because audience capture, like the types of audiences they're trying to capture, Jarod, you can't even capture them for long form anymore. They're trying to capture impressions, the TikTok scrolls, like you're like going fishing and there's so many types of fish, but most people really don't even have that attention span anymore.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if a lot of it is a game for more social media like followers, which is now like the easiest way to leverage your brand because no one brand has that effect. But if you have a large following like Ronaldo, you can be like, hey, bring me to the White House. I promise you it'll be worth it. no individual other than Messi or someone like that big could have that type of effect. Maybe music stars of that size, but in
Mm-hmm.
general,
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo's bigger than all of them on Instagram.
Oh, for sure.
His comment on Mbappe's post was the most liked comment. So that's power. And but yeah, just a thought on like, I feel like they're trying to just engage short form audiences with all this. Like, they're not, long form audiences just don't exist. They're not getting born anymore, Jarod.
That pivot, a pivot that you talk about, Sid, has happened and is happening, right? Like the old metric of, and this is why it'll be so interesting to see how broadcast deals continue to get done going forward in the future. That old metric of, you know, the Nielsen rating, right? 20 point whatever million people watch, whatever. That only works for single standalone events, right? For like, and I know that linear broadcast still uses that, like the NFL still uses that number, and they can because they have such big numbers. But that is such an irrelevant number now. To your point, Sid, it's about, are we going to go viral with something that happened? That's the new currency, right? And that is really, you can see it is what every broadcast partner, every time there's a new event, they're trying to reverse engineer going viral, right? Not recognizing that virality doesn't happen by reverse engineering it. You don't know what's going to capture people's attention. Shit just does, right? I don't know why. It just, things just happen, and you're like, oh my god, it's the funniest thing ever. Like I don't know, like it just, right? Like it's like the memification idea, right? There was 7 hours of The Last Dance, right? In terms of the Michael Jordan documentary, Bulls documentary, but the enduring meme was which one? And I took that personally. You didn't know that was going to be the one at the time. It was the one that stuck out. You cannot plan for that. It has to just happen on its own organically. And there's no rhyme or reason as to how it's going to happen. It just does. But every company is chasing that high, right? How do we get that thing to happen? And you can tell when activations and crossover events and brands are forcing it, right? You can clearly see you're trying to make this a thing and it's not a thing, right? Like, because that's not how it works.
Fortnite.
You have to let it happen.
Like Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite's number one. Like, Fortnite does everything. Like, Fortnite just recently had a crossover event with like every comic book in history or some crap. I've never seen it. I don't know how they got the rights, but everyone gave it to Fortnite because Fortnite's so big. They're like, yeah, we'll give you our IP. And also, in general, with the and what they want are the viral moments. Agreed. And like, it's really funny. Like, the White House definitely got that, or Ronaldo got that. I don't know who he wanted, but when all his fans are like, "Hey, Messi fans, you said we wouldn't make it into the U.S. Now we're here." They got it. Like, that's how you win. Now you get your online mob to go. You get an idea to go viral. You may not believe it, but there's a lot of people online who will just tweet and like and retweet. I don't know who pays them to do it, but they're just there.
Yeah, for sure. There. I mean, there's a whole economy built on that, right? Like, and then influencers who literally, like, that's their job, right? Is to, because there's something called a cult of personality, right? And obviously we know superstars have that, right? There's a reason why people love Jordan, Ronaldo, Messi, peak Tiger Woods, like all these people, right? There's just this cult of personality these people have. Now, exists because of their excellence in the thing that they do, right? That has to be the first thing. Looking for sports, and right, they have to be very good at the thing. And then it turns into this thing as the internet and social media, all these things evolve. The cult of personality, you get the parasocial relationship between the fans. I mean, we have this experience, right, Sid? Not us individually, but within Real Madrid, right? Where you have player FC, right? Which, if we say something about a player, critiquing them, their FC crew comes into our mentions and goes crazy on us. And it's like, dude, we care about Real Madrid and we like all of our players. Critiquing or saying where someone can get better is not us hating on them. But that's not how cult of personality fans think. Everything must be awesome and glowing about their favorite player. And if it's not, they're coming for you, right? This is the economy in the world that we live in.
Yeah, agreed. And last thing, I know you have a hard stop, so I want to touch on it.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, Jarod, there is no Club World Cup in Chicago. There's no World Cup in Chicago, and I am disappointed, but I just thought I'd let you know. So we talk about all this monoculture.
Wait, that's bizarre. You got Soldier. What do they call the Bear Stadium now? It's called Soldier Field. You got Soldier Field. You can't play there.
So apparently, my understanding is Soldier Field might just be too hard to get in and out of. And we don't play in Soldier Field. That's not the Chicago team stadium. That's the NFL stadium. So I think the MLS team stadium is okay. And listen, though, I don't fully get it. We just went over how nobody pays attention to anything anymore. Why would you miss out on one of the biggest cities in the USA? Is the USA so big that you can skip out on Chicago? That math just feels weird to me, because
I
listen,
agree.
guys, this is the cleanest. Like, you're in New York, Rod. It's not as clean. If Jarod wants to not have a nice stroll, New York is congested, man. It's not like Chicago. Chicago
Listen,
has
I,
cleanliness to it.
I've spent many times in Chicago, many weeks for business, month. Yes, for a big city, it is among the cleanest big cities in the United States. Now, it has considerably less people than New York City, right? New York City has 8.5 million people, right? Like it's just far more people than Chicago. But in terms of cleanliness, doesn't even compare.
Last thing here, soccer in NYC.
Mm-hmm.
I think I believe Messi won in New York City. Let me
I think
double
so.
confirm here.
Yeah, I think so.
That was cool. Went away to New York City, 5-1, destroyed them, did not score, got his teammate a hat trick, probably set him up on a play. I don't watch the MLS. I'm not an MLS tactico, but how's soccer? How's soccer in the city? Is it popular? Is it growing? Because you'd think as such an international city, it's something that's growing.
It for sure is very popular in the city. You have your pockets, right? Obviously, New York has a heavy Spanish-speaking population. There are a lot of, as you would imagine, Real Madrid and Barcelona fans in the city for all the reasons that you think there are. But there are also a lot of fans of clubs that don't play in the Euro's Big Five leagues, right? A lot of Flamengo fans, a lot of right, like River Plate, like a lot of MX, Mexico's top league, right? A lot of fans of clubs in those in that league. And so soccer is extremely popular in the city. You can walk down any street and it will not be longer than a block. You'll see somebody with some kind of soccer jersey on, right? Like it's very popular. That being said, it'll be interesting to see this summer when the World Cup is here, how that juxtaposes with what potentially could happen with the New York Knicks this summer. Because that I maintain as a lifelong, was a New York born and raised person, a lifelong, well, not lifelong. I lived in California for a bit, I lived in Jersey for a bit, but as a resident and a native of New York City, nothing captures this city like when the New York Knicks are good at basketball. Like the Yankees can win 8 million World Series, like Giants can win the Jets, Rangers, none of that shit matters. When the Knicks are good, oh my God, it's nuts in this city. And they've been good for a while now, right? In terms of, making the playoffs, deep playoff runs, conference finals, etc. So it'll be very interesting to see in an East that might be more vulnerable this year. It'll be very interesting to see if they make a finals run, what that will look like juxtaposed to when the World Cup begins.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like the NYC economy needs any of this. It's always doing well. It's a strange place,
It's a
but
bizarre place.
it is a bizarre place. With that being said, I know I initially put the banner up as soccer in NYC, but on the instructions of our own president, who is really funny, I will give it to him. Whatever you think of him, he said he was asking why we call it soccer, and he said it is football with the feet, and a lot of people are now asking for him to be impeached over this. So that is a big concern internationally in the United States today. But it's funny. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, listen, soccer, football, I just bring that up because we are an American podcast, like of people from America, but we do cover Real Madrid. We are interdisciplinary, as we showed today. We're just interested in all the different spaces of sports, how people build power, where money comes
Yeah.
from, and all those things. And it's interesting. Sports is always interesting, and it's only getting more interesting.
It's something I always say, Sid, which is sports is a microcosm of the larger society in which it inhabits. So nothing that happens in sport should be a shock to you because you've already seen some version of it happen in quote unquote the real world, right? Like it's no different. It's no different. It's the same thing, just a smaller subset of the real world.
Yep. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us for this special episode today. We will have plenty of more beta testing style content out this month, and we're rebranding, so on. Make sure you check out our other episodes, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We need your help to grow as independent creators. So please help us out if you can. Thank you.
Yes, sir.